Hey, how's everyone today? Didn't know if I was going to go live or not. Didn't really have anything going on. Was just kind of scanning through some, YouTube and some Facebook and sitting here, and I was like, well, I'm sure there's somebody that wants to hang on tonight and hang out with us. And links pinned if you want to come in. Charlie, I talked to Charlie. He's going to the gym tonight, so he's at the gym hanging out. And I figured I would jump on here. I know there was a everybody's just waiting on me to come on. That opinions on the hot hive I've got. So it's definitely that specific hive. So we're gonna mark you first. Hey, good deal. That's great, DC. And Chirac checking in. All right, glad to see the Kurtz unit out, and Chirac is checking in unhurt today. That all president accounted for. And so found the mean colony. Gonna do something with it. Probably going to well, not probably, that queen will get gone. Now, how I'm gonna redo that colony, don't know. I don't think I'm gonna just soap it out. Because first of all, it's got some honey in it, so I'm gonna try to grab the honey out of it, and I don't want soap in the honey. But I relocated. So there was a hive here. This hive was here, right? The mean one. And the entrance was facing you guys, and I moved it to the other side and flipped it around the other way, and then put a new nuke there that has a queen and not a ton of bees, but moved the hive to the walnut farm. Oh, they would love that. They'd be out there by themselves, though. That's for sure. So, and then probably merge in one of my other nukes after I dispatch that queen, one of the splits that I made with the queen, and put it over there. Hey, Randy. And so that's the most likely situation right now. Yeah, I know it's going to take 4 to 6 weeks, but for them to calm down. But in the process, they will still be working, right? And if we give them a good queen, that should turn around. Now, there's not going to be any honey coming out of, well, maybe a couple frames if I end up breaking them up and dispersing the brood out. But yeah, we definitely want to get rid of that genetic in there. Now, here's the thing with that colony. If I don't open them up, they're fine. But as soon as you crack it open, I mean, as soon as you get that migratory cover and take your hive tool and just pry it a little bit, it doesn't even have to pop. You just pry it a little bit, and because it's hot, you don't get a popping sound down here. You just get it like a glue, and then you immediately smell the bananas, and then you immediately get the bees flying out of the colony. So, yeah, I don't know that there's many drones in there, but then again, to be honest with you, I haven't checked it. They may even be queenless. I don't know. The only thing I wanted to do is I had put another box on them a little while back, and they were hot then when I moved them from double 5s to a single 10, and they were hot, and I put another box on them to give them some more space. And I opened that up today, and they hadn't come up at top. So the only thing I want to do is pull up a frame and put a frame down for them to start working up. And let me tell you what, as soon as you get in there, they just go crazy. But so it's one of those situations. We'll deal with it, get it knocked out. put a queen excluder on the entrance so the drones don't get out. Well, you know, knock on wood, I don't have any queens trying to get mated right now that I'm aware of. But I guess that's always a possibility. And since they kill the drones off here in the next several months, it should be hopefully better. You know, I don't even like dealing with that colony. Be honest with you, I don't even know why I checked them today. That's one of those colonies you don't care, swarm if you want to, you know, whatever. But I did make a move on another colony, which is pseudo demarray style. It's probably the wrong time of the year to do it. I didn't really care because I was trying to really get the brood out of the honey supers. So I took, how do I explain this? Could kind of do it. Kind of, let me get this hive right here. So let me get this hive. And I need to get the other box off this hive. All right, so we're going to have to do some visualizations. All right, so I had the brood box. And I had a couple, actually I had three mediums on it. Well, they weren't really doing much down here, right, at all. I mean, they were backfilling it, but there was no brood in the bottom. Then there was brood in the top boxes. So they were backfilling it, but I want to get all the brood out of here and make sure the queen was down here. But there was so many bees in there. I took another deep box, took one frame out. I'm sorry if I can get them out. All right, took one frame out with foundation in the bottom, and I put one frame in the bottom with comb on it. Put that back on the bottom board. I shook every single bee out of the original deep box and the supers, which there was 3, down into this box with it only got one frame of comb in it and foundation. And then I popped the excluder on, then put the other deep box, the original brood chamber, back on top here, which is getting backfilled with honey, and then stacked all the supers with the brood back up on top. So no, that colony they weren't mad at all. That's what I'm saying. I only had the one colony. So what was happening is as I shook them, they were flying around to the front and coming back in. But this brood box was really packed with bees. And because there's brood and stuff up here, they're going to walk back up there. So 3 weeks from today is right around July 4th. There was plenty. I mean, that box, it's got about 3 boxes of honey on it that are actually all the way capped. And then they got the stuff they had in the deep. So they were doing pretty good, but I just needed her to get out of that medium and get into the deep. And now hopefully they'll build that comb down there and get that rocket and rolling. At least that's the goal. Will it work? Don't know. We'll see. I kind of go by the Bob Benny philosophy. You shake them vigorously, not violently. So I do more of a just like a little vibration. I don't go whap, whap and shake them off. It's just a little wiggle to get them off of there, right? Hello, Keith. My name is Lisa, and I'm addicted to bees and bee chats for 3 years. So yeah, I was just doing that. So I figured you guys would want to see the hot bees. We figured them out or where they're at. Now I'm figuring out how to get rid of them, at least cool them down. And that seems to work pretty well. But the link is in the chat, guys. So come on down and let's hang out. Let's see if I can drop this beehive. I did have someone tell me they had some land for sale, and it's almost too cheap to believe the price. But I told them, if in fact that is the correct price, then I will buy it. Well, hello, sir.
Hey, how you doing?
Well, got the hot bee situation, but other than that,
Yeah, I saw the video.
yeah, they were pretty. This is Beaks Anonymous. Yep. It was. They were pretty. Fired up a little bit, but that colony that we were in, and Sam said put that medium underneath the deep and let them come back up. They didn't. Nothing changed. So
nothing changed.
No, I put a brand new box down with one frame of comb in there that they from their original deep, and I shook everyone.
My mentors, yeah, my mentor said the exact same thing though. Put the deep on, put your other ones underneath the deep.
Well, but the thing is that doesn't get her out of there. That might get her to move up to the deep eventually.
Yeah, then you switch them. Yeah, so, he said once she goes up into the deep, then you switch it back.
But that thing was so packed with bees, I just shook them down and give them some foundation and see what happens. That's what I've done in the past, and it's worked. And I just want them to hatch out and backfill so I can pull that honey, because there's about 3 mediums on there that, well, you saw them when you were here, but there's 3 mediums that they're filling up really well that I need to
you got a lot of honey that's sitting in those boxes right now.
In the boxes, right? Getting dehydrated, getting capped. It just wasn't time yet. So
this is what I just got.
That's it. I'm telling you.
So did you get that? I'll be putting that up. Yeah, I got that through Amazon.
Did you get one? Did they send you 1 or 2, or how many came in the pack?
I ordered 1.
The ones that I got, the one like I've got out there, that one's fake now, but it was 2 for $25 or something.
Yeah.
Build it, they will come.
Hold on, let me check the box. Maybe there's something else in there. I don't know. I thought I just ordered 1, but we'll see.
I got some stuff in today. I got this. We can do a package opening.
There you go.
What?
No, that's in mine.
Any guesses on what's in this pack? It is something beekeeping related. Oh, I don't want anybody to see what it is. Any ideas? Bueller? I'll give you a few seconds to put it in the comments, and then I'm gonna do a reveal. No,
that ain't Apis. So you got a box full of
that. No, it's not Apis for sure.
Labels.
Oh, they faked the funk on me. You ready? I'm gonna, if I can get it out, I'm unveiling. Ta-da! Another bag. Inside of a bag. That's weird. Yeah, you guys remembered what I said the other day.
Oh, no, you got the seeds?
No, it's oxalic acid. Got the industrial strength oxalic acid here. So 5-pound bagaroo. This will last me a little while. So that's the game right there. And it's in the same size bag as the big bag of Apis. That's why the shipping was so much, because they double bagged it. That came from Amazon, and the shipping was pretty wasn't bad because it was in off of Amazon, so Prime. My cat's hanging out here tonight. But yeah, so you get your other hives in?
Yeah, I got the. I thought it was a 10 frame, but it was an 8 frame.
Oh, you bought an 8 frame box?
I didn't mean to buy one, but it's a 3-story 8 frame. Comes with 2 deeps and 1 medium.
A medium 8 frame. That's not. I mean, hey, if it works, it works. It'll still hold bees.
It has 8 frames in it. You know, it's no different than the 10 frame supers.
Now, was there a different price? Did it say on the package slip that that's what you ordered, or you ordered a 10 and they sent you an 8?
No, I went back on Amazon to make sure. It was my mistake. I didn't click the little arrow thing to go up to 10, so it was the 8. It was like $30 difference.
And well, $30, you would have got 6
3
more
extra
frames.
Yeah.
6 more frames. Well, and the bigger boxes and all, but
Right.
a lot of people like 8 frames. You might put that together and put bees in there and be like, you know what? I really like 8 frames. I'm just going to order 8 frames from now on.
Yeah. Well, that's what I might have to make that little section 8 framers.
Who needs to watch anything else? We have drama, intrigue, suspense, and excitement.
Right.
Yeah, we
yeah.
tried.
So I was not. I put half of it together already today. I just got to transfer the bees over. It was nasty out today, so I wasn't gonna open up any of my hives today.
Well, it ended up being a little bit cloudy today, but no rain yet. And
we got the rain down here, that's for sure.
And I still have nectar flow. I'm still seeing bees in and out, in and out. I actually saw a little bit of red pollen on one of the girls today.
Yeah, the dark pollen. Yeah, mine are bringing that in too right now.
It's red. Like,
yeah, it's dark. I don't know if it's red, but it's dark.
Tornadoes.
Yeah, that's through Mississippi and
Alabama,
wasn't it?
Yeah, Grammy said they sent her home early today from work for tornadoes.
Georgia really got hit.
We're supposed to have rain all next week. Smoking, not from gunfire.
Yeah, I think we're getting our spring weather now.
Yeah. Well, I guess they're mimosas. The only thing, that's the most that I see around in the privet. That's about it. I mean, what's the other one that everyone's saying we're starting to get that's on the tree?
Well, crepe myrtles are coming in over here. So
yeah, crepe myrtles. We got some of those, but I didn't think they were that many close to me,
you have some in that neighborhood right around the corner from you.
Well, I'm sure those people are appreciating it. They're getting invaded. They are getting invaded.
I've done pretty good selling my honey in the last 3 days. I've already sold over $220, maybe $240.
That's pretty good.
And that's just those little bears.
That's pretty good, man. It doesn't, we were talking about different things last night and about as far, like selling honey and prices and all that stuff. And
I was already in bed when you guys came on.
Yeah, it was kind of a late night, but it won't be late like that tonight. Probably about 10 o'clock is about all I'm going tonight. But but if anybody's curious, the streak is still alive on 4 for 4 on late days to work this week. This morning, I actually got up on time. I got in the car. I started driving to work and got stopped by a train. And I was like, well, late now. So let me see. I'm surprised they don't get nectar because they weep nectar. Yeah, I don't know that much about the crepe myrtles.
They do 50-50 is what the book
Half
says.
pollen, half nectar type of thing.
Yes.
And with it's your fault, Phil. You came through and blocked me up engineering that train. And with the the honey sales and the equipment thing. So I don't know. It's a weird thing. So when we start talking about equipment and in changing things or increasing things, it's not to we're not like saying anybody else's method is not correct for them, right? Or why you saw the machine I got, right? So it's not what people I think kind of miss in the conversation. That money that paid for that came from the bees.
All your other stuff, yeah.
Well, the bees paid for that, right? So it's like I didn't just buy it and I'm in debt for it. I bought it after the honey made enough money to buy that piece of equipment. So it's not a debt. Well,
you don't put it on credit.
Yeah, I don't do the credit thing, right? So
right.
I could. I mean, it's not like I couldn't go charge up stuff and go into debt for my my bee business, but that's not been the way I do it.
Yeah, that's not being how you call it, money logic or
responsible.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, gosh, I guess would I have been better off had I done that? If I went in originally and just charged up and bought X number of hives and I'm going to make this a business. But to be honest with you, I didn't know I was going to try to make it a business when I started, right? It was just I was going to get a couple hives. And then as I recognize things that that I think would make my life easier, then I try to get those. But it's not a matter of, hey, you got that big uncapper, now you have to do 4,000 or 400 pounds of honey to pay for it. No, I already had those 400 pounds of honey sold, right?
Right.
And got that money. Then I bought it. So I'm just not going into debt for my stuff. So that's, is it taking me longer? Yes. Would I like to go faster? Yes. Is it happening? No. So, I mean, it's just one of those things, as far as the timeline of the bees and figuring it out. So, and it's hard to get anywhere. And this is me because I don't know how many colonies is enough colonies. How many do I need? So it's not I can't reach a destination if I don't have a set destination, right? So it's hard to say.
They say the magic number is usually what, 150? Really solid hives.
Yeah, that's the I think that's kind of 100 to 150. But now if you look at different regions, right? So if Canada does 150 to 200 pounds per colony, well, then they don't need as many colonies to possibly get to that same level. Now, what does change that number is the fact that they get a lower price on their honey. So it's it's one of those things that they have to now sell more honey because supply and demand. They've got more honey, so the price is lower. And now they have to sell more honey or have more honey to sell. So they have to have more colonies. So I think it's like 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, where here you can have less colonies and get a little bit higher price on money, like almost double. Isn't that funny? their bees make double honey, and so we get twice as much for our honey than they get. So it's kind of neat. But someone asked, Hanley's asked, how much was a pound of honey bringing down here? So I've seen it anywhere from $10. That's where I'm at. Until last night, I said I was going to 12. Right. So, and then
I'm at 8 myself.
You're at $8 a pound?
No, per 12-ounce little bear.
So 12-ounce bear. So let's
for every 10 bears, it's $80.
So 10 bears is 80 ounces, right?
It comes out to what?
16 ounces is 5. That's 5 pounds of honey. No, I didn't. Is it? You said, hold on. That's 80 ounces. It
comes out to 96 ounces for 10 bears, right? No, that's 80 ounces. Yeah.
12. Hold on. 12 ounces a bear. Is that 12 fluid ounces or 12 honey ounces?
12 fluid ounces.
Okay, so that's,
which is what do they say, 8 ounces a bear?
No, so hold on. Let's see if there's a calculator for this. Honey conversion. Wait. Eight fluid ounces or 1 cup of honey weighs 12 ounces.
Right.
So you got an 8-ounce bear, which is 12 ounces in honey.
Correct.
Okay. And you're getting $16. No, $8. You're getting $1 an ounce. No. You're getting $8 for 12 ounces. Right.
Basically, yes.
So how much is that ounce? So we need to figure out. So we need to figure $8 divided by 12 is 67 point. The mark of the beast 0.66666667 per ounce times 16 ounces. You're getting $10.66. We'll round it up. $10.67 a pound by the ounce.
Right. Which ain't bad.
Yeah, so you're getting more than I am breaking down. However, because you have smaller bottles, you're actually profiting less per pound because you have to have 2 bottles to sell a pound as compared to one
of your bottles.
So,
and I pay 56 cents a bottle. So
with the lid, yeah. So I mean,
so that dollar is basically I basically eat $1 if you think about it.
But it all goes back to what your market can stand, right? So I could probably charge 12 and 17 or whatever, and that's I haven't figured that out. If it's $12, then it's $18 for a pint.
Yeah, hold on there, Steve.
And so it's a little bit of a chore figuring out the math. I need a new pencil, Donnie. So it's are you buying the bears from Amazon?
No, I got them through what is that company I get them through? It's the same place I get my egg cartons and all that stuff. No, it's a company out of Pennsylvania.
It's not Gamber, is it? Gamber Container, same one we get it from.
It might be, but this is the little guy right here. Yeah, got my little. I don't know. You guys can read that.
Yeah. Well, it's a little blurry. Back it up just a little bit towards you. A little bit more. Yeah, there you go. Right there. Perfect.
Okay. And also got the information, the nutritional values on the back. So
We couldn't sell it for $18 a pint in northern Indiana. Yeah. So, hey, Brooklyn. Hope you're doing good. Yeah. So it's been I've been selling pints for 15. So, and that's just a regular old mason jar, right? So
yeah, that's what I saw mine for 15.
15 a pint, and it's nice, pretty nice honey. Tastes good.
So yours is nice and dark. All my honey is light. All of it's light.
Yours is I don't know. I think it's about the same.
Is it? I guess with the lighting, I guess.
Yeah, it's about the same. But the yeah, I mean, it's about your market, right? What you want to do.
Yeah, I filter it 3 times.
And that's key. So I'm still trying to figure out what the system, right? Let me see. I get $6.87 a pound. Are you selling it wholesale for $6.87? 3/4 of a pint jar. You gonna keep your price the same and lower the? You're taking a play out of the Man Lake playbook. Sell your Ultra B at the same price, but give them 10 pounds less a supplement.
Yep. So I run a deal when people come over to the house. If they want two bears and 1 thing of eggs, it's $20.
And that's, well, I mean, it works out. The thing is with the honey, for me anyway, is that you only make X number of pounds of honey. And then it's like any other crop, right? You make, if you're a tomato grower, you make X number of pounds of tomatoes. And oh, Canada, okay. Kilograms. Yeah, yeah, I know you guys get a lower price per pound, but then you are per kilogram, and then you can charge extra for the container type of deal. But as far as being able to sustain, I mean, I don't, it's weird because I feel like maybe when I say stuff that people think that, hey, he's saying something, and it's like with the equipment and all of that. I'm not saying, I'm just, when I do this stream and I'm on the stream and I say something like about Tim's hand cranked extractor, I tell him to go buy one with a motor on it, because for me, I don't like to crank. Now, Tim evidently likes to crank, so that's good with him. And that's perfectly fine. But as far as equipment and stuff like that, I don't spend this money as far as the honey proceeds. The only thing that gets spent on is equipment or bees or queens or frames or something like that. So because I'm working, right? Because I'm working, that I don't need to take my paycheck to invest into that stuff. So I just use that money. But it's I don't want anybody to feel like I'm some kind of rich, highfalutin guy that is getting all this expensive equipment and, you can only use this or that. No, that's not it at all. I'm just showing that. I mean,
what works for you.
Yeah, what works for me and what I'm trying to build, what I'm trying to do. And Chris, I don't know, do you envision yourself, and I think you might, but getting up to 50 or 60 colonies? Is that your goal?
My goal is hopefully I can get these 11 through the winter, and we'll work from there. But for right now, I'm gonna stick with these 11. Well, I was gonna stick with 10, but just got another one. But 11.
Right. So I mean, it's like your plan is developing as you go.
Slowly. Yeah, I want to make sure I got my shit in one sock. Let me put it that way.
Right. And
Before
that's
I try to go any bigger and more into it. So I want to be able to maintain what I can do now, get efficient. So when I get more, I'm a little better equipped.
Mike, nobody ever said anything about anybody's social status as far as being poor or rich. Cranking, if that's what you want to do, Chris cranks, right?
Go to my video.
Doesn't
you,
matter.
you'll see my video. I'm cranking, but I made it into a automatic.
So when I say something, it's based on what I'm doing, I could not crank. I knew right from the beginning that if I was buying an extractor, that I wasn't going to buy a hand crank extractor. I just waited till I had enough money to be able to buy that.
And plus, I only got a three-frame framer as it is. I don't have a 6, 8, 10. So I just do 3 frames at a time. I'm good with that.
All right, now you've seen my apiary. You've seen how much honey's on the colony.
Oh yeah, you have to have a little more. Yours actually, you probably need 2 people to work yours because you got one person putting frames into the machine and somebody loading your actually extractor.
So it's not a matter of I mean, because of the number of boxes, if I apply my setup to your extractor situation,
I'd be there all night.
More than that, probably, right? If I pulled all the boxes that had honey in it off my yard right now.
Yeah, I mean, it takes me an hour just to do mine. So
probably 400 to 500 frames out there, and you're doing them 2 or 3 at a time. How many years holds 4? You're
just 3.
3. So you would have to sit there and spin for
15 minutes. 15 minutes on each side because once I do one side, I have to turn them around inside the extractor to get the other side to come out. So each frame is twice, basically spinning.
Hey, Mike, I'm in the same boat, buddy. I started out with 1 colony, and I actually ordered 5. I said I've got $1,000 that I'm starting this with. Right, I actually went a little bit over in the beginning, but I started with $1,000. And I didn't know. I was just like, hey, I'm going to get a couple colonies and start. You know, if it grows, it grows. And if it don't, it don't. But that's what I was willing to throw out the window if it was a failure. Right.
Right.
$1,000 is my investment. And if it don't work, it don't work. And of course, I caught the fever, the apiary flu instead of the aviary flu, the apiary flu. And, you know, I just tried to do things, and again, you know, I just save the money off to the side and buy as I need. And this year I didn't need to buy boxes. I had a ton of boxes.
And that's where my failure is because I didn't expect to grow as fast as I did. I had plenty of boxes, but
that damn storm lure worked too well.
It did. Because I bought 3 packages to go with my already 1 hive.
Right.
But as soon as I put my packages in, then I started catching all those swarms. So all my excess stuff, because I looked ahead where I knew I was going to at least have 10 hives, but I was going to build off the 4 that I bought. So
right
now I've got 11.
And yeah, me and Morgan were talking earlier today about extractors and whatnot. And some of the hand crank extractors that you get from like Man Lake and place like that are just as expensive as a 4-frame electric or an 8-frame electric one. So
yeah, I got the Vivor or whatever you want to call it.
The Vivor. They got a Vivo. VIVO, and they got a VEVOR, VEVOR.
Yeah, this
But
one I got the Vivor.
Grumpy Bill's Bees got another one with the lure today, so it's working. That's a blessing.
Yeah, I just did my swarm catchers just to see if I can, because I got some more hives coming in.
Another box.
Yeah,
Order some more boxes.
actually I got some coming in, so
that's kind of where I've been with my journey. I definitely don't want anybody to ever feel that I'm trying to put anything they're doing down or anything like that. And nobody has said that to me, but I just felt like watching some of the comments that that maybe I didn't want to feel like I was hurting anybody's feelings. Anything I say on this is based on what I'm trying to do, and you can't apply what I'm trying to do to every situation that's out there. Blaine, I've got the Lyson 18-gallon heated bottling tank from Better Bee. Now, there's other places that might carry it where it's closer to you and you don't have to get it shipped. Let me see. Do I have Better Bee up over here somewhere? Probably not. But it's mine runs on 110. You cannot use the you cannot run the creamer with it, but it's a I'll pull up the one I've got. Hold on. Present. Whom's? Let's see. Entire screen. There we go. Enter. Boom. All right. License processing. Or do I have the 26? Mine looks like this one here. I thought it was 18 gallon that I had. Let me see. Do they have an 18?
it's actually pretty tall. The one you got.
It is pretty tall. And the walls are pretty thick on it.
Yeah.
13, 50.
The pressure's kind of loud.
Oh yeah, but that's for my valve, right? That's
Yeah.
not the actual tank. I thought I got an 18. Maybe I got 26.
Yeah, it looks bigger than the 18.
It looks like this one in the picture, but it's bigger.
Yeah.
It's taller anyway. Maybe let me see if that's the one I got. 100 liters. That looks like the one. Where is it? Oh, come on, Better Bee. There we go. It's gone up a little bit since I bought it, but that's what mine looks like. And that picture looks like it's shrunk. Mine looks taller than that.
Yeah, much taller.
But mine, it runs on 110. The one that I have, it's not water jacketed. Yeah, I did get. That's why I thought I got an 18. I got the 18, but for some reason I don't see it on here right now. It's cheaper than 1,000. Man,
yeah, I'll just stick to the old pot.
The old
with a funnel. The pot with a funnel.
Where's the I need to get this cover for my uncapper, and I really want this here, but I don't want to buy the pump that goes along with it. So that's the drawback. I might. So that's a 13. They have an 18.
Well, on a different subject, when my little girl stung my ankle that had arthritis, I don't even feel my ankle anymore. So the bee sting really worked on my arthritis. I don't even feel my ankle anymore. I mean, it's there, but you know, I mean,
It's on page
I don't,
3. Lee's already.
I don't feel the pain.
Lee's got it figured out already. This is the heated creamer. I don't have that one. This is the one I've got. $8.98.
Yeah, that's. See how much taller that looks.
And
yours was tall.
It says dripless valve is required. I will tell you, it's not required. This is the one I got. Is that the one I got? Licensed bottling valve? Now I got to see. They're not very specific. Everybody gives me
What's for dinner there?
This all right. This is the bottling valve that I've got to go with mine. That's why it's loud, because it's hooked to a compressor, and all I do is step on the pedal, and with air pressure opens the valve and lets the honey come out. So that's the that's what I've got, Blaine. So not many people, I know Better Bee uses this system. I like it because I can have the bottle in one hand, the lid in the other hand, hit the pedal, fill it up, and then just spin the lid on, and I'm done with it. So a lot of people, well, my compressor's loud and it's inside right now, so when it goes on the porch, maybe figure something else out. Run that air line from outside in, but then I have to leave my compressor out or something like that. So
get you a soundproof room.
Right. I've actually thought about making my honey warming cabinet. Yes, I said it right. Making. You know how I'm like, oh, just buy it. But no. I thought about using 2x2s and getting some 2-inch thick insulation and just making a box. You're like a chest, right? Like a counter where it just has doors on it. You can open it up and then do the light and heat with the insulation box, and that should work perfect to keep the honey from crystallizing. But right now I don't have to worry about it because I don't have that much. I've never had my bottling tank filled all the way up. I've got an unbottling tank. That's right. Lee's never going to let. I had a slip of the tongue when we were on a live stream. He's never going to let me live that down ever. Damn you, Lee. Lee, you're welcome. Wait, what are you doing here anyway? It's Dungeons and Dragons night.
I know, right?
I was trying to see if there's any. My daughter messaged me today. Dad, how much is your honey? Why? I wouldn't charge my daughter. We had this discussion last night. I wouldn't charge my daughter for honey. So it's like, well, how much is your honey? Because her friend is having a baby shower and they want to give little 1.5 ounce jars of honey as gifts to the people that come to the bridal shower. So I said, I'll tell you what, you buy the little jars off of Amazon and I'll donate the honey part of it. So
there you go.
Bob, the goal is to sell out before it crystallizes. Yeah, see, I don't go that route. The reason I don't is because I don't discount my honey. So I just, people just come up and I sell it. But for the most part, it is gone. And my very first batch of honey that I ever pulled, I gave my friend a jar of it. And he says it still has not crystallized. In 5 years, has not crystallized. I'm like, you sure there's no crystals? No, it's perfect. I was like, okay, well, good for you. I don't know what the hell kind of honey don't ever crystallize when I haven't heated it or done anything to it. But that's what he says. He claimed it today.
Yeah, my secretary, I gave her one last year for my first honey extraction, and she said it just started crystallizing. Just started. and she wants it to crystallize so she can make creamer out of it. So
Let me see. I'd never sell that fast. My first bucket crystallizes before I finish extracting all my honey. What kind of, is that canola or something you got up there, Phil? I have a jar from 2019 or 2020 that hasn't crystallized yet. Yeah, so I don't know. And I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I don't know what nectar they're bringing in. All I know is what the flowers are blooming right now. And that's only because I use that app that we walk through the ditches and use. And it says, oh, 89% that this is this. Okay, well, then this is what it is. Does the bottling tank liquefy crystallized honey? It does. Oh, I know. Will you bring me a drink, please?
right.
Yeah, I'm just gonna see a hand come across. Pow! On the
I was gonna
side.
say I know better that.
Mostly from fruit trees and everything else. No canola. Okay. Yeah, the one I've got, it will. I don't, mine is set for, let me see. I don't even know. I got to convert because it's a license. It's in the metric system. So you Canadian guys would love it. It's, I got mine set at 100 degree, 38 C. So, 100 degrees is where I heat it to. Now it will go higher, but that's where I set it for bottling when I pour it in there. That's pretty good. I've sold out all my honey every year pretty much. I've got some bottles that I kind of keep around for whatever reason, and they did crystallize, and that's why I need a warmer. They're in plastic, so I can't like nuke them; they'll melt down. So
Unless you pour them out into a little pot and just warm them up a little bit with warm water around it.
all right, thank you. She loves me. As she closes the door and looks over her shoulder, pausing for dramatic effect, swinging her hair in the wind. Did you hear? She said, "Oh, please quit." That's funny. And we don't know why. That's it. Well, all she asks is, "Do you have bees on you?" Yes, I do. Hey, I like the license gear. It's a name brand. It's as far as name brands, it's probably one of the less expensive name brands. And it's shown me to be good quality so far. So I'm looking at either a creamer or a what you call it, clarifier. But unless I pull all that honey at one time, right? I'm not really putting enough honey in the box to need the clarifier part of it yet.
Right.
Or if so it's kind of a dilemma because I was looking at Maxant, and Maxant's clarifier is like $1,700 for a small one. Well, it just so happens that the license, big one, is same price, 16 and some change. And then you got to buy the pump. Well, the Maxant pump is like $2,700, and I think the license pump is like $2,300. So, it's just, you know, as far as cost to what it does. So let me how I looked at, where was it? And I don't have any Maxant product. I don't get paid by any of these guys or anything like that. So I just want to clarify that.
You just like the product.
Yeah, well, I mean, all right. So I'm just going to show you my thought process, and you guys can agree or hold on. Let me do the entire screen. So when I switch, it switches with me. So this is Maxant's deal here. So let's go to uncapping. This is their uncapper, their motorized chain uncapper. It does one frame at a time. So you pull the handle, right? And you do the one, you pull it down and push it back up, and the chains uncap it. You see the price of that uncapper? $3,400. That is what I paid for my uncapper with the big tank. Well, mine was $100 more expensive. It was $34.95.
And yours holds 5 frames at a time, so.
Right. So, and 30 frames in the table.
Right.
This one, you do one frame at a time. So this is just to tell you, I'm not saying this is a, oh, come on, Hanley. What I'm saying is for the price of this machine, what you get with the other machine for a comparative price, in my opinion, is it's a better value. You know.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to buy this one little small tank for the same price. You can get a bigger one, unless you don't have the room.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I totally get that. But this, I don't know if this comes with it. Probably not. But let me see. There's a demo video. Is it going to play? I don't know.
Better come with somebody that actually does it for you for that price.
So put the one frame in. Now it looks like his is going in a capping. Anyway, that's on MaxNet's site, so it's not. But this drain tank is $600 more. So now you're at $4,000 for the drain tank, this tank, and this. So
that would be self-cleaning for that price.
Well, and then you have to pay shipping on that too, right?
Yeah.
So with mine, it was you get a long tank with the trays, you get the motorized blades and the hand crank that does 5 frames, and shipped to my house it was $4,000. So
there's really ain't no comparison to that. Not for that little one compared to what you got.
And this is what that guy
price.
had. This is the one that guy just had right there, right? It's a capper combo unit. But look at the price. $9,800.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
So I mean, that's just how I look at things. I mean, I kind of try to see what I need and overall. If that's what you got, great. If it works for you, if you like it, I'm happy. I'm happy for you. But it's not a. Do they have a recapper? They do. It's called honeybees. I put that comb back in, they'll recap it right up. If we got a flow. But yeah, that's it. I mean, it's not a rocket scientry. The way I look at things is just I try to look at if I have to spend this much for an item, then what's the most that I can get for that item, right? It's just value or perceived value, which is what sells anyway. But this cat, man, come on, cat, get out of here. Comes down under my feet there.
That's why for all these other guys, just to let you know, I just use a little roller or my heated knife.
You never saw my roller.
No, I didn't even see it.
It was in the second tank there.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the little roller because I can get to all the little nicks and crannies that you usually can't get with just
I like the roller other than the wax bits that I was getting, but I mean I still got some wax bits, but not like I was the real fine ones.
Yeah, but that's what my filters are for, so I'm not worried about it.
But now, as you sell more honey and as you grow, and then you'll get to that point to where you're like, yeah, this is taking me all weekend. Or see, one thing that I kind of try to do is that I don't like to pull my honey and let it just sit like in because of the hive beetles, right? The hive beetles still be on the frames. So that's why I try to pull the boxes, extract them, or uncap them, extract them, and so the hive beetles don't mess the honey up when there's no bees on them to take care of them. So I try to do it as quick as possible, and that's just
from all the frames I pulled over the weekend, I didn't have a single hive beetle in any of my hives. So.
Well, I mean, at my hives, we saw what 4 or 5 out of all the colonies.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Not bad.
But you had a lot of your colonies were pretty strong though, so that helps out.
Well, now you were there when we used the new uncapper, and we were playing around with it and blew a fuse and all kinds of stuff. Got a frame stuck, right? But with the deep wooden frames,
wooden frames were a lot better. Yeah,
went just right through, right? I mean, that was my first bottleneck, right? So I had a little extractor that would hold 8 frames, Chinese extractor, and the thing was that it was 8 mediums or 4 deeps, right?
Right.
So I'd have to flip the frames, and that meant that I could only uncap because I didn't have an uncapping tank. I didn't have anything set up other than like a bucket or something like that, a tote, and I was making a hideous mess in the kitchen, right? And then I could only do 4 and set them in the tote or set them in the extractor and extract it. Then I have to spin it both sides, right?
Yep.
So I found that if you pull 3 or 4 boxes of deeps, you're there for a long time. So my first bottleneck was having somewhere to uncap
and put them where after you get them done.
Yeah, so I could uncap them, and then I could just move them from that to the extractor, and they would be dripping and into the tank. So that's why the last year's tank came in, and then I was like, well, I've got extra money from the honey, get a bigger extractor, and so that's when I bought those 2 items. But it's I didn't just. This has been five years running, right? That I just get a piece, get something, try to do something more just to grow everything. But it's not like I just dropped, hey, let's put $100,000 into beekeeping stuff and get set up, right? And nothing worse than a blowout when you hand crank.
Well, I think for your other tank, all you really need is a decapper that you could attach to that one, and that'd work great too.
I've got it. It's sitting over there. You moved it. It's the tabletop one.
Oh, okay. I thought it was set up like the other one.
And everything. Yeah, it's just not the hand crank one where you can do 5 at a time. You got to do one side, flip the frame over, do the other side. But it works. I just used it one time because I didn't do large batch. I was just pulling a few frames at a time, and then it was like, you know what? Let me just roll this instead of getting the water in and set it all up and all that stuff. That's why I'm selling that one. So selling it as a set.
There you go, guys. Anybody wants one, Bob has one.
I've got an uncapping table or uncapping tank and a licensed tabletop steam uncapper. So for the low price of $1,400, you too can have them both if you pick them up. That's the caveat. Pick them up because I'm not crating it up to ship it to somewhere. But you would
pay for the shipping.
You would save about $500 on shipping, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was right. He said said I'd be home around 9 o'clock. How'd
Yep.
it go?
Hey
All
there.
right.
I
Hey,
know
Bob.
Charlie's just
Chris.
pretending he's working out. He's actually going there to look at the young does walking in the field.
Yeah. Nah, I worked out trying to work on this sciatic nerve of mine. I did it last Sunday, and I'll say that I jumped in it a little bit too strong, and then I was in pain for about 3 days. So,
You know what the VA told me the problem with my back was?
what's that?
My front.
Blame.
Yep.
My front.
You got to build on that core to make your back stop hurting.
Because the belly
The muscles.
puts pressure on your back.
Yep.
And that's my thing. I got the same issue.
I had that conversation this morning with a friend of mine.
Yeah, I do the abductor machines, which help the pelvic girdle. Hopefully, it's going to help stabilize the SI joints. And all, it has helped some already. So I backed off on my amount of reps. So that way I just kind of slowly build up. Hopefully things will get better.
If you just do a few sit-ups a day, you'll be building that up also.
Well, I did it a Sunday, and then I hurt so bad I could hardly walk Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday I had a meeting. So today I felt back to normal. So I just instead of doing 30 reps per set, I did 20 and three sets of 20.
No sense of killing yourself.
Well, yeah, I pushed myself too hard the first time around. I should have
Right.
started
Start out with 5, then 10, work your way up.
Right. Exactly. So what are we doing? What are we talking about?
Well, we've been talking about equipment. And I basically I felt like I might have offended some people talking about gear and
how much it costs and what Bob buys and all that.
I mean,
stuff.
it's not about like, we always equate how much honey you have to sell. Like, for my line, 400 pounds of honey to pay for the uncapper. Well, the fact of the matter is I pre-sold that, right? I already sold that and then used that money to pay for it. I didn't go into debt to buy it, and now I have to sell and produce 400 pounds to pay for it. Those bees already did that work, and this was the reward that they got for, or I got for them doing that work, right? So,
Ed, that's pretty funny.
Do it.
Ed, son of one, that's pretty funny.
Most people talk about their 6-pack. I showed them my mini keg. I just say I got a 6-pack, but it's still in the refrigerator.
Yeah.
So it's
I mean, I was lucky. I had a guy when I first started, and he had cancer, and he was selling that. So I bought
you was lucky a guy had cancer. That's what you just said. I was lucky. Guy had cancer. He was selling all this stuff. That just did not come out right.
Whatever. Anyway, I was able to get the Maxant. It's a small one that they sell a lot of. I think it holds 6 frames, and it was motorized.
Mm-hmm.
And I got that and some other tools and stuff from him, and kept that for several years. And then I went from that to an 18 frame extractor, and then like my bottling uncapping tank was a 5-gallon bucket with this the uncapper it's called. It's a plastic thing that snaps on the top of a bucket.
Right.
That Man Lake and them guys sell.
The yellow thing.
Right. And
that was your first thing you worked with? Is that what you're saying?
What's that?
Is that the first stuff you were working with?
Yeah. I mean, I have only gotten rid of that 5-gallon bucket and capping.
But you still use the Hive Butler. I mean, and that works for you, and there's nothing.
Yeah, but what I'm getting at is I went from a 5-gallon bucket as my uncapping tank to the Hive Butler for the last 2 or 3 years, and it works. it's a world of difference as far as the mess. The 5-gallon bucket was messy, and I had paint strainers and all this different ways of trying to do it. And because I have plastic frames, I could have bought an uncapping tank, but they all have the bar with a nail. And I said, well, that's great if you got wooden frames. And my plastic will probably slip off. So when they came out with the Hive Butler, I incorporated that uncapping thing that snaps on the bucket into the Hive Butler, and works good for me. And
So how many frames does that Hive Butler hold at one time? A box?
10 of them.
My honey room, if you're looking at the total square footage of my honey room, it was a screened-in porch. It's about 350 square feet.
About 10 by 12, ain't it?
Yeah. Oh, it's no, it's 15 by 20, whatever that comes out to be. I think that's
But you're
That's a
only
nice-
using half of it, though.
yeah. So I mean, that's the thing. It's also got storage, 300 square feet. But that's 300 square feet without all the crap in it, right? So then you got
Yeah.
I got a refrigerator, I got boxes, I got bottles and frames and everything else out there. But it is it's a good sized room, you know. If just again, probably using what, half of that, maybe a little better than half because of the fireplace cutout thing on both sides with the French doors. But I mean, it works fine. But it's nothing special. I mean, I don't have a garage. I don't have a carport. You know, I took something that I had that was a screened-in porch, and I just enclosed it with about $450 worth of that T111, right? And then painted it and put some new doors on the outside and turned
Now
it.
you got electricity.
And now it's been electrified.
Yep.
So it's just slowly making stuff, and I've been talking to the boss there. He's got some they misordered some 24-inch bat installation that he's got laying in there. So I'm going to try to get him to give it to me at a discount to get rid of it, right?
There you go.
Because there's not that much stuff that's 24 inches on center, but my porch is, and that would work perfect for my walls. So yeah, so mine isn't dedicated really. I mean, that's where my stuff is, right? But it's got other things in there. It's got my dogs in there in cages. I mean, they're on one side of it, and I do a thorough cleaning beforehand. It was pretty clean when y'all came in. It wasn't so clean when y'all left. Charlie kicking not Charlie, I'm sorry. Mr. Sam was sitting on a 5-gallon bucket that had water in it from where I was cleaning. And it had a honey gate on it. And when he stood up, his boot kicked the honey gate up and the water started running on the floor. And, you know, we had cardboard down and stuff like that. But it's, it definitely is a work in progress. Everything I've got is a work in progress. There's nothing that's finished right now. You know, it's just like baby steps. Do it as I can, when I can, with what I have available to me. And if I don't have it available to me, well, then it just stays.
Yeah. But no, I mean, I went from that 5-gallon bucket to the Hive Butler, and it works fine. And the main thing about it is the mess, you know, the dripping and the mess of honey and whatever is minimal, almost none now. And I also was able to reclaim a ton of honey out of those cappings and stuff. And then I, you know, have my extractor. And then last year I was able to get a grant and bought a bottling tank. And I looked at bottling tanks for years. And at the time when I started, it was like Max Ant wanted, I'll say $1,200 for a 16-gallon bottling tank that's heated. And I just could not see why anybody would want to spend that kind of money for a bottling tank. But then when well, it's like Bob says, you grow.
Once you get a lot of honey, you got to do something with it.
With your honey production. And, you know, it's like I was at a point where, like with Bob, was that, I would, in so many months, I would sell out. So I didn't have to worry about storage per se.
Right.
Then it got to the point where I got a little bit more honey, and then I would have crystallization problems. So then I happened to have a guy that gave me a refrigerator, and I put a heat lamp in and I bought a thermometer thing controller off of Amazon. And then I've been using that for the last 2 or 3 years. And I put 3 5-gallon buckets in there, and that pretty much keeps the honey decrystallized. And I would put my bottling bucket in there. Well, that kept the honey warm, and you could pour it. It kept it from decrystallizing, and it's in the basement. So here I am, bringing up 50 pounds of honey up the staircase and all that stuff every time I wanted to bottle. Kind of hard on my back, and also the inconvenience of it. And then in the last 3 years with single brood chamber management, I doubled my honey production, and it got to the point where, I need a little more efficiency. Hey, Phil. And so anyway, I bought this. I got a grant. I said, okay, I'll go for the 25-gallon bottling tank that's water jacket from Maxant. Got it with a no drip valve, or the one drip valve, as I call it. And then I also bought a scissors lift like Mike Barry had. That's where I got the idea from. Him, and also Bohemia Bees, Jason. And so I put that in. I guess it was this time. It was this month last year, a year ago this month. And I got it up and running and dumped a bunch of buckets of honey in there. And I've been bottling ever since out of it. Now I see the value of it, because it's like you said, Chris, you get a certain amount of honey that's, buckets. And I'm talking about, if you got 25-gallon buckets sitting in a house, it's like you're thinking about, all right, I don't want them all. You can crystallize honey to the point where it's a solid rock.
Yeah.
And what a pain that is. I've had that. And so now I said, okay, I need a place to store a lot of honey and keep it from decrystallizing or crystallizing, and or have it so I can decrystallize it a little easier and a little more automated. So that's why I bought that, and it's been one of the best purchases. It saves my back, and along with and I can raise that tank up into the air. I can sit on a chair, and I can sit there and bottle honey. And like I bottled, I think it was Tuesday night, 14 pounds of honey, different size bottles and things, and it takes you about, I don't know, 5 to 8 minutes, maybe 5 to 10 minutes at the most.
Yeah, it doesn't take long, especially if it's warmed up a little bit.
It's all warmed. I keep it between 92 and 98 degrees, and it works great. And, if I put if I pour a bucket in there and there's a small amount of crystallized honey in the bottom of it, it's still liquid enough to where it'll drain out into that tank. It'll decrystallize it over the next 4 or 5 days. I always try to make sure I have got all my bottles filled prior to dumping a 5-gallon bucket in there, because that way it stirs it up with air, and you want all that air and stuff to kind of rise to the top over a several day period. So,
Doing, Philip?
Jerry.
Oh, we're talking about uncapping tanks, and I thought I'd do a little show and tell for you on my $20 uncapping tank.
go right ahead.
Let me, while I'm trying to get this camera, I wanted to talk about what Charlie was saying. Yeah, I think that's my next step, is trying to deal with, when I get a big crystallization problem, because I got to do two things. One is that kind of tank, but also maybe a warming refrigerator. Warming.
Yeah, you have a warming cabinet. I've used that, and then if it gets too bad, I actually will put it in a water bath, and let it heat them bottles up that way, or not the bottles, but the 5-gallon buckets.
Well, I'm
There
gonna
we
tell you
go.
something crazy. Last year, I put my 5-gallon bucket in a freezer, and it didn't crystallize.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it was a deep freezer too. It wasn't just a regular freezer.
Right.
And the honey it didn't completely freeze. It didn't crystallize either.
Yeah, it just stabilized it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that your uncapping tank, Phil?
Yeah, it's like a $10 tote from Home Depot, and I put this. I don't know what this thing costs, $5. I got like 4 of them for $20 or something. Then I
What's the?
built this little frame. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was looking. That's your holds the cappings.
That's basically
Yeah,
a
it's gonna
hive.
help. Not quite a high, but
But I mean, it's the same principle. I
So-
mean, it's a homemade hive butler, but it works, right? So
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong
Yeah.
with that.
well, you guys have seen these things. What do you call those? Cooling racks, I guess you call these.
Yeah.
I had some of these, so I built my frame so that it would hold the cooling rack about 3 inches off the bottom for the honey to pool up. And let's see if we can try to do this one hand and film it. So let's get this out here where you can see it. But this all comes apart, or at least this comes out, so I can, clean it, hose it down. So this just sits there like that. What I
And you
need
know
to be
what
able to do,
else you could do? You could put a cooling rack higher up, right? Like you had 2 of them in there, right? And then the bottom one you could cover with a 5-gallon paint strainer and filter it as it goes into the bottom of your uncapping tank.
yeah, I was planning on running. When I run it out of here, I'm going to run it through. Matter of fact, look right here. I got the paint strainer right here for a 5-gallon bucket. I ordered those too. But I was planning on running it through. I bought a couple of those metal strainers, so when I run it down into a 5-gallon bucket, I'll run that through it, so it'll catch that too. But yeah, that's my bottling tank right there for a little bit. But like I said, this thing is probably the thing I wanted that's different from the one I got now. Let me show this real quick. I built this little guy here to be able to uncap frames. Got the screw on it. Fits on there. But this is probably going to come pretty near filling up with capping. One more thing that this does. I don't know that it makes that big a difference, but I built it in such a way that'll hold 7 frames and sit there and drain also. So I went ahead and made it, a little bit more multi-purpose. You guys see that?
Yeah. Looks good.
But I still think that's going to not hold all the capping. So what I'm trying to sort out is, because I had the same problem that Charlie talked about when I did my 5-gallon buckets a couple of weeks ago. A lot of it, hits the floor because it's just not wide enough. I need to figure out a way to modify this. I can uncap in a 5-gallon in this little clean bucket here. Uncap in a 5-gallon bucket, so when it does fall outside, it'll fall inside this one rather than hit the floor. So I just need to make
get a little router and router that out just a little bit.
Yeah, you're right. Router. Well, that's a great idea. Thanks for that, Chris. Because I can just route that out and let it sit down in there.
Right, and it'll sit nice and firm in there for you.
It's funny you say that because this is what I just bought from Harbor Freight. It was on sale for like $12 or something. Perfect for that. It's trim router.
Yep.
All right, that's all I had for the show. Let's go, guys. We got some real unstable atmosphere over Texas and Oklahoma this evening. So who knows what's going to happen before too long. But
It's supposed to rain all next week here.
it's got that hot, muggy, unstable. Like all hell could break loose at any time. I'll show you guys the bees since my stuff's not capped. My stuff's not 50% capped. I'm gonna wait another couple of weeks. I went some of these today.
That's where I'm at too, waiting on them to.
Something I found that was real unusual.
Looks like you froze up, Phil.
Yeah, I think he did. We lost him.
Almost like you, Bob, when you get to a certain point in your yard.
Yeah, I go when it
Only thing
tried.
I can think of.
Oh, there he goes. There you go. You froze up for a second, but you're back now.
Yeah, what I was telling you guys was when I went through this colony right here, I've got 2 little small nukes I started off of queen, and I've got some comb up here hoping they'd give me some honey. This side over here had some brood in it above the queen includer. And I went down, I found brood in both compartments in the bottom. I can't figure out what happened unless she's just squoze through and then went back down. She was able to squeeze through there.
Yeah.
I had a Houdini queen that she was mated, and it didn't matter how many times I shook her into the bottom box, she kept going up, going up. They look good.
That one's kind of small.
Mine are plugging up the whole entrance at night. They're just like clustering
Hanging on the outside, yeah.
And they're just, I mean, literally on the entrance, they're just using their bodies to plug that whole thing up.
We're definitely slowing down on the flow because I put out, you know, the guys have been drying out that honey, so I've had these buckets out here. They cleaned this up. It wasn't just a madhouse or anything, but there was a lot of bees on this earlier today. Whereas a couple weeks ago when I put stuff out, they would totally ignore it. So our honey flow is coming, and there was some. When I was going through my colony today, there was some robbing that was starting. So,
did you put your? You got entry reducers on yours?
I do. I left them on there since last winter. Some of my newer colonies I didn't put any on. Like, well, this one right here I didn't put any, but they're reducing it themselves. This is the entrance reducer I had on there since the winter. It's like a 3/8-inch slot. It's like 6 inches wide, though.
Yeah, my entrances on my hives are only an inch wide.
Wow, yeah, that's real thin. I have screen bottom.
It keeps all the robbing out. Yeah.
Yeah, I have screen bottom, so that helps a lot with the bearding.
All right. I've only got it on a couple a handful of colonies, I'll say that much, that are doing it. And but I mean, it doesn't matter. The bearding, it's like right now it's warm, but the last few nights it's been 69 degrees and they've still been on the outside.
May not be any room.
Mine, Bob.
Yeah, there may not be any room. It might just be full of bees because we're getting to that kind of time of year when they're
max capacity.
They're max capacity, and there's not that much in the environment for them to deal with, so they just hang out there.
Well, Bob, you got that real tall hive. Is that one of yours that's bearding, or they're not bearding on that one, are they?
Yeah, they're bearding.
That's what I brought home from the office today. You guys know what I'm going to do with that, right?
Scoop and score.
Scoop and score, yeah.
Let's see. Man-Lake catalog page. Oh, for the Hive Butler. You know what? You can order from Hive Butler straight. I don't know if it's any cheaper there, but when I was looking at getting that one for the giveaway, that Larimore one, Hilco actually had them cheaper than the site. Which doesn't surprise me because they did the same.
Yeah, now what Mike's talking about is he bought the Hive Butler storage and transport. The uncapping tank that's listed in there is not a Hive Butler. It is a Man Lake uncapping tank. That's why it's totally different. They don't sell the Hive Butler uncapping tank.
So let me see.
Yeah, I think I looked that up. Yeah, Hilco does sell it cheaper than buying it direct from Hive Butler. It's under $200, isn't it?
Yeah, it was 190 something. So
compared to like 120 or something.
No, 220. It was 190 something and free shipping. So let me present this. So there's the Hive Butler website. That's the lid. Store frame, collect swarms, uncap honey. So this is the uncapping tank that you have. That's the one that
Right. That's what I got.
that's what Keith won that I gave away. And so the Man Lake is gray. That's a gray tote, right? That they use on theirs.
Right.
So it's a little bit different.
Well, the interior of the Hive Butler is definitely different versus the Man Lake. Man Lake uses a, I think, a queen excluder for their sieve, and they only have the wooden bar that goes across there.
Spring, summer, autumn, winter. Pulling honey, holding honey, storing frames. Use the Hive Butler tote with solid lid. Stackable design. Store your comb, right? Now, call me dumb, but 1, 2, 3, that's $360 to store your comb right there
Yep.
for 30 frames. So it's not,
And that's not even enough really to do anything.
yeah, they're like 100, what, and that's it right there, right? 120.95 a piece. So that's the thing. But it looks like, I mean, everybody that I've talked to that has one is happy with it. So
You're like, oh, just buy some totes from Home Depot and make your own.
this is
Yeah, but they don't have the
food safe.
they don't have the wings in there that hold the frames and all that stuff.
I mean, you can make those.
I was
Before
wondering if you... Go ahead,
Yeah.
Phil.
Well, before I built that, I researched the plastic on it. It is food safe. It's polypropylene. It's like a rank. Its rating is like 5. I think 1 through 7 plastics are food safe. So it's like lower down on the what is really safe, but it is compliant with food contact.
Let's see. Blaine says you can get a chest freezer cheaper than that. Line up a whole bunch of them in there.
That's true. You can get one for $300-400. One of those little small stand-up ones.
But it looks like a useful tool. I've never used one, so
I'm gonna jump off of here and I'm gonna be listening to you guys and just get something to eat, and then I'll jump back on here in a little bit.
all right. We're probably going to only go for about another 20 minutes or so.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll
Yeah.
just see. Cool.
And then Charlie's tomorrow night. So
I might be at the farm, so I'll definitely only be able to listen from there.
I'm just trying to, I was looking at beekeeping supplies on Marketplace to see if they had anything good, but they don't. Nothing good used equipment wise. But it happens from time to time.
That's funny, Donnie.
Frame storage system is yellow and black and used to haul kids to school. School bus. He might have an old school bus.
Well, I don't really have. I have freezers for storing my frames. You know, actually for killing any pests and stuff like that.
You got 2 freezers, don't you, there, Charlie?
Huh?
You got two freezers, don't you?
Yeah, actually, I got 3. I got 2 big chest freezers, and then I had somebody. They were moving or something like that. I bought an uprate for like $75.
Shoot, you can't beat that.
No, still, and it's actually commercial. I actually bought 2 of them. One of them was a residential, and it lasted for a while, but I didn't think about a warming cabinet, and I got rid of it. And it was like, dummy me, I could have turned that thing right into a secondary warming cabinet. And
I'm just
all.
waiting on my refrigerator I got on the porch to die. When it does, then that's what it'll be repurposed as, probably.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I got it. I'm running out of freezer space, but that's where I get the Paramoth or the I get those wafers I've got off of Amazon or Walmart, one of the two places, and use that. It works fine. You only really have a problem is with all that is I think it's the brood comb, but I pretty much keep most of my brood comb on the hives.
Old man Lake's looking at me because we're talking about uncapping tanks, and then all of a sudden the man Lake uncapping that tote uncapping systems up in my Facebook feed.
Oh, that's the big brother. That's Big Brother watching you there.
Yeah.
Well, I bought a Man Lake uncapping tank. It was $800, and it was busted up. And it was from Italy or wherever. I sent it back, got my money back. That's why I bought the Hive Butler. I said, well, this is more portable and all that, and it's a little more user friendly for me. My space as far as the back porch is limited, so that way I can clean it up and put it away some other place. Now, if I had a little honey house room like Bob had, it'd be great.
Yeah, my little space I use is only probably about 4x4.
But y'all don't remember the honey house was Ratmageddon. You don't remember? It was full of rats. I had rats in all the boxes that were in storage out on the porch.
That was before my time there, I think, Bob.
Yeah, so I started to. My sisters had a bunch of stuff stored on my mom's porch, and
I remember that part. Yeah, you were throwing it out.
I gave them 3 years, and then I started grabbing them to throw them out. And the first box I grabbed, 4 or 5 full-grown rats came jumping out of the top of them. I had about 50 rats running around in the porch. That I had the hose in there. I was squirting them. They were climbing up the bricks. It was a whole thing. Yep, water hose to the rats is exactly what happened. They ran out of the porch, and that was the next day after I got all that stuff out of there and got the rats out of there. I started closing it in so they couldn't get back in. Well, they can get back in if they wanted to, but they would chew their way through. But yeah, it definitely has been an adventure with the honey house. And now I'm starting to look at, well, how I'm going to finish the walls and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's coming along, though.
Yeah, just slow. Just, doing a little bit here and there at a time. Luckily, Keith came up and wired it. So now I can do a few other things to get that going.
Yeah, because once you finish the walls and get it insulated, all you have to do is go through your little roof and attach a air duct to your existing air duct inside the house to put it in the ceiling to blow down.
The bad part is all of the air duct is in the crawl space of this house, so I can't get it to the porch. But if I insulate it, then that portable unit should hopefully cool it off better.
Yeah, Hadley Homestead. I'll have my live show tomorrow night at 8:00. Just go to Sawmill Charlie's Bee Farm, subscribe, and you'll get the notification.
I see everybody's pulling honey already in different spots.
I'm gonna be pulling some more this Saturday. And that'll be it for the year. I'm gonna let them build up the rest of the year for themselves.
That looks like my ship there. Chris, you've been on a ship.
I have quite a few.
You remember days like this?
Haze gray and oceans away.
Yeah, you see how he's leaning? He's not falling. He's not falling. He's doing that to the ship's rolled so much that he's leaning so he doesn't fall off the ship.
That looks like a 45-degree list.
Yep. I've had days like that for sure.
especially when you're walking on the bulkheads on the inside of the ship when you're trying to get to the mess hall.
Yeah, that's crazy days.
I don't miss it at
You don't
all.
miss those days.
No.
But yeah, that's it, man. That's all that's going on around here. Just trying to get this honey, get the rest of this honey. And
Well, get everything set up this week, and I think I'll start pulling honey next week. Well, actually, it's supposed to rain. It's supposed to rain here some too.
I might have to wait all the way to the 4th of July to get the rest of this off.
Well, we got a break in the weather this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And it's going to start raining again next week there, Bob.
And then the following week, you know what that means? If you get a week of rain, that you're probably going to get swarms the first dry day after that. So that'll be my luck. Next thing I'll be catching bees out of the trees.
That or termites, one or the other.
That's true.
Because it's termite season that whenever it does that too.
By the MDA, the Muscular Dystrophy Association, or Michigan Department of Agriculture. So technically, mine's not an outbuilding because I can open doors from the inside of the house and come straight out onto it. So it's attached. I haven't had a swarm since it was after the honey flow last year, and I was getting small swarms. Let me see. I think it's
so.
funny.
Charlie, do you 8 frame or 10 frame?
10.
10 framers.
Yeah, I tried 9 frame honey supers this year, trying to get them to draw the wax out farther.
Yeah,
Some of them did. Some of them did, but I think maybe I'll try it next year where I'll just put 9 in from the get go and see what happens. But I did that last year, and then they drawed all this darn burr comb in there. So I was trying to get them to fill it up and then space it out and all that. So we'll see what happens.
I think you'll have some wax to melt down with the burr comb.
Yeah.
I saw Dan Garrison cracked himself in the head. Was he at your place, DC, when he cracked himself in the head? He had he was putting in a fence post and somehow cut the top of, split his head open.
Who did?
Garrison. He comes on the stream sometimes and watches. He's been in the stream a few times too. I got my phone on the charger over there. It was about to die. Let me see.
Later, Lee.
Yeah, it's we got about 9 minutes, and I'm calling it, guys.
Yep, that's fine with me.
I think that's the first time I made it through the whole thing with you.
Well,
I bought a longer charger cable.
First time we've cut it off early.
Well, I would have been cutting out at 10 o'clock anyway, because some of us have to get up early to go to work there, Bob, and make it in on time.
I'm just late. They don't say anything. But it's funny because I actually will probably make a commission. And I asked them, I said, well, I was out 3 days last week with my surgery.
Mm-hmm.
I said, so I turned in sick time, right? That I had the sick time in the system. So I was like, will they pay me the sick time even though
you didn't make your quota?
My commissions are over the quota. And Zach's like, no, I don't think they will. I'm like, well, then don't charge me for my sick time.
Exactly.
If I'm not going to get paid for it, then don't take it away from me, right? Let me just keep that. And so I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to get paid or not. I might have to call HR afterwards and say, hey, you guys didn't pay me for my sick time, but you charged me for it. So I don't know how it's going to work out.
Did you talk to them about going as a technician if it comes open?
No, not yet. I don't know. Right now it's I'll tell you my leads today. Caterpillars.
Those are killers.
House flies, like regular house flies. I had a wasp call. So it's wasp, flies, caterpillars, and moths. I'm like,
from the caterpillars.
well, it was all different people. That's the leads that I got today. I'm like, well, what do you want me to do about these? You know, you want me to go to somebody's house and
special service spray and make them happy.
Yeah, but the lady, that's the thing. By the time they call you, they're already doing stuff, right? Like she had these sticky boards. I've never seen them before, but it was a sticky board, a clear one that you stick on your glass window.
Mm-hmm.
And they fly at the window and they get stuck to it. And then you peel it off, throw it away, and put another one on there. And I'm like, well, that's pretty cool. But all I'm going to do is take the fly bait and spray around the windows, which is basically what you're doing right there with those sticky boards. And it's like,
you just gotta play the game.
That's crazy.
People pay money for you to just show up and spray, even though they're doing what they're supposed to do themselves. But they just think your stuff is better sometimes.
Let me see. It looks like the Mid-State Beekeeper Association is building a new website. So, for South Carolina.
Yeah, one of those little zappers.
I would have sold them one of those assault rifles.
Yeah, ones with salt in it. Yeah, those are cool.
Shoot the salt at them and kill them.
I went to a restaurant that actually had that. The people in the back were using it
to shoot the flies.
Yeah,
that's funny. But fly trap bags work great. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, is just some of the stuff that I get called for. It's like the first time I'm getting them ever in, close to 9 months being there, that they're calling for like moths and stuff. I'm like,
I got the same calls, but for my regular customers.
And
I don't get paid extra. You do.
Well, but if I don't sell them anything, I don't make anything. So
you automatically sell them at least $125 service. Use some of your WSG and spray around.
So look at this. You remember old Fermanagh, right? Philip, look at he's lost weight and everything. It's looking good, man. Look at him. Old Fermanagh drinking a Guinness there. So maybe he'll come back soon.
Yeah, how's he been?
I haven't spoke to him in a while, but he was going through a separation, and now he's lost a bunch of weight, so that's a good thing. But it appears he still likes the liquid beverages, so I guess he's doing good.
Because he had the black bees, didn't he? One.
Yeah, he had 2 flow hives. And I don't even know if he's still got those or if what the deal is. I'm sure he probably does, but I don't know what his situation is as far as what's going on with his wife and all, or ex-wife or whatever the situation is now. But yeah, I wish he'd come back. He was pretty fun. But anyway, guys, we don't have to go all the way to 10. It's kind of slowing down.
Yep.
I hear you.
We'll be on.
You still got 51 people watching you.
51 very bored beekeepers watching right now. And tomorrow we'll be over on Charlie's channel to do it all again. And I'm going to see if I can keep the streak live and make it 5 for 5 this week on late getting to work days.
There you go.
I imagine I'll be on time. You know, I'm just one of those guys that I sleep like a couple hours at a time. So I wake up several times during the night. And
so do I, but my bladder is what does that.
And
I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I guess beekeeping other than that.
I guess beekeeping. Well, there at least will be some beekeeping talk in the beekeeping talk tomorrow.
Well, you could always talk about how high you keep your hives off the ground and why you do it and your entrances and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why, like my hives, those are my honey production hives, and I used to keep them higher up with center, 10-inch cinder blocks, and
keep that for tomorrow so you have something to say.
Yeah, I redesigned that for a purpose, for a reason.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. That's because I've seen how your apiary is. I'm curious on why you keep it the way you do. So
yeah,
I'll be on tomorrow. Listen to that.
It's about a work situation, back situation, that kind of thing. I designed those hive stands for a certain way of doing it, and all. So
yeah, if you see my videos, mine are high because of the water issues we have here.
Yep. So no, it's not so much water issues. It's saving your back and making working your bees easier.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right, guys.
All right. We'll catch y'all later.
Make a list, Charlie. That's what Brad said.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right, guys. Well, I'm going to end the broadcast, and we'll see you guys tomorrow over on Charlie's channel. Good night. Thanks for watching. And